I would have had this review out a little bit sooner, but something dropped on the internet that was also made by Marvel. The hype train! The fucking hype train! Ugh! So I didn't have enough time to, do both. You gotta do one or the other. You gotta pick your battles, However, before this did happen, I did make time to watch the first season of Marvel's The Punisher, starring Jon Bernthal. Wow. Jon Bernthal's Punisher is seriously, I think, the best part of Marvel's Netflix thing. The story of this series comes from the end of Daredevil Season 2, where we think that it was the Irish, the Dogs of Hell, and the Mexican cartel that fucked Frank families over. It was just a gang war that went wrong. You find out that it was not a gang war, that it was actually a setup by the CIA. And that's all it is, essentially. It's just Frank going around looking for the guys who would want to kill him and his family, and why they would want to kill him and his family. That's basically it. It's just a giant search for the truth. That's it. Let's start with the pros. Of course, I'm going to say it. Anybody who's been watching all my videos that happen to feature Jon Bernthal as like a part of it knows that I think I have a huge man crush on Jon Bernthal. Him as the Punisher is what got me into him, and then I started seeing that he was in other movies beforehand, and I really like Jon Bernthal, but I fucking love Jon Bernthal's Punisher. Seriously, fucking amazing. He was awesome in Daredevil Season 2, and I was worried that when his own series came out that he wasn't going to be as strong of a lead because he was piggybacking off of Daredevil and all the characters in there. I was wrong about that. He absolutely carries this fucking show. It is great. You really get to see what's inside of Frank's head this time around. There's more layers to him this time around. You see that he wakes up every morning. He forgets that his family's dead. Just a bunch of shit. There's more layers to him this time. Another likable character, this is obvious, is ebon-moss Backrack, is Micro. There's just something so likable about this guy. I don't know how else to put it. They both went through similar paths as far as what happens to them. Frank's family was killed, but Micro's family was kind of taken away from him, and he can't visit them, he can't see them, otherwise they're gonna die. And I feel like if it was coming down to acting like Frank or acting like Micro as far as your family goes, I feel like more of us would be like Micro. We wouldn't really know exactly what to do. We'd kind of be a little bit helpless. We might ask for help. Micro is more of a relatable character than Frank Castle is. The series also had really good villains. You have Billy Russo. Billy Russo was his war buddy, Frank Castle's war buddy. You kind of got the sense that it's just the way he looked, the way he dressed every time, the way he talked every time. It's just, you can kind of sense that even if you don't know exactly who Billy Russo was before watching the show, you could tell he's going to be a bad guy. Same thing with this other guy, William Rawlins, the guy with the missing eye. The only time I've seen that actor before this was in Rambo 4, and it's ironic because in that movie he plays a giant Christian pussy. And to see him like step up and be like this sinister, not really badass, but just like this menacing kind of guy, and like the fact that he fucks up Frank Castle really good, kind of amazes me. Like, that really shows the acting ability on the guy. I like how I mentioned the villains before the supporting cast. The show also has a really good supporting cast. All these characters I'm just gonna name off. You got Madani. I have a list here. Madani, Curtis, Sarah, and the kids. They're all really good characters. There's not one arc I feel like that was left out, except for one, which we'll get to. And also, can I say this? I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say, as far as these Marvel Netflix shows go, Marvel likes killing cops, don't they? Like, I've noticed that. They have Scarf from Luke Cage. You have Clemens, that old black dude in Jessica Jones. And then there's a cop in here that dies. And there's another one that gets punched by Diamondback in Luke Cage to frame Luke Cage. Yeah, Marvel kills cops a lot. Anyway, and the action, of course. The action, this is my favorite action style in the Marvel Netflix universe. Daredevil is really cool and all, and it's really nice. But The Punisher is raw. It's just brutal. It's raw. It's fucked up. I love it. There are some seriously fucked up kills in this show, and I loved every single one of them. Yeah. Okay, now there's only 2 cons that I have, and one of the cons is easily the biggest con of the show, and I feel like it's why I give the show the score that I give it, which obviously I'll get to. But the one big con is the character Lewis. Lewis is a blonde army vet. He was just a horribly written character, in my opinion. Nothing against people with PTSD. Nothing against him. I feel like they were over-exaggerating the PTSD elements of the character, and I could be wrong. I've never had PTSD. I've never been to war. I'm just saying that now, so I could be wrong on that part. But on top of that, he was just like a murderous plot device. He was just a guy who killed people, and that excelled the plot forward for Frank to try and find his answers. And then the other con on my list is this is just kind of a nitpick. I just feel like there's too many hostage situations. This is the Punisher after all. I'm not saying the Punisher holds all the hostages. I'm just saying in the show there's a lot of hostages when really there should be a lot of killing. So I feel like hostages would be really impractical. That's a nitpick. That's a nitpick without a doubt. That's really it as far as non-spoilers go. I don't really have much to talk about as far as spoilers. What do I give the show? I really loved it. Don't take that Lewis thing out of perspective. I just really did not like at all his character. His character was very poorly written in my opinion. But otherwise, 9.5. 9.5. I really like the show. I think it has the potential, if not, to some people it might blow them away as far as being like the best Marvel Netflix show. I think it is. Daredevil Season 2 I think comes close, but I really like The Punisher. I feel like Daredevil Season 2 was as successful as it was thanks to Jon Bernthal's Punisher. That's what I believe. So I'm going to give it a solid 9.5. Now, as far as spoilers go, there's not really much to talk about because really the only thing that you could spoil with the show is who dies, and in this case, for the Punisher's sake, is just what actually happened to his family. That's all you could really answer. So with that being said, as far as I can tell, I have to rewatch it to really understand it, but as far as I could tell, William Rollins ordered the hit on Frank as basic revenge for Frank clocking him in the face because he was a threat, and so Rollins just wanted to have Frank killed back in what was it, Afghanistan. But then he went back home, and so he targeted him back home, and it ended up killing his family, but he ended up just getting shot in the head, so he survived that. So that's as far as I could tell. That's really what happened to Frank Castle. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And then the other thing is, before I watched this series, I knew the second I heard Billy Russo, I was like, Jigsaw. I knew exactly who it was. I watched Punisher Warzone. That is, as far as like the villain goes, Jigsaw is probably the best part of that movie. Ray Stevenson as the Punisher was also pretty good for like the Vietnam styled Punisher, but this is, it's a more modern take. But as soon as I heard Billy Russo, I was like, Jigsaw, instantly, I knew it. And that guy is a really good looking actor too, so the fact that like they used his actual face as like a plot device for being good looking in the show, and then they're gonna fuck his face up by making him Jigsaw, that's really cool. I like the way they did that. So, and he was a good villain too. He was really good. He was really like menacing. You can buy like what he's doing. Really good villain. So I can't wait to see like his just fucked up face. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't show us the face, but I'm also kind of glad they didn't too, because it'd be too soon. That's it though. Punisher was really fucking good. I'm really glad they chose Jon Bernthal. I feel like had it been anybody except for Jon Bernthal, I don't think they would have made the standalone series. Daredevil Season 2 probably would have sucked more. Micro was really good. All the supporting characters, really good stuff. Just a great fucking show, I think. But now we have to wait for Season 2. Or at the very least, Daredevil Season 3. Yeah. So I guess we'll be stuck waiting for a while. But for now, that's all I got for you. So thanks for watching. See you next time.